Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Gone are the days of wrestling with our favorite LJN wrestling figures, trying to convince them to stand up. What's a guy to do? I'll tell you what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get on Etsy and look up 4 Left 3D Creations and get yourself these amazing custom LJN figure stands. There is a custom stand available for every single one of your LJN Wrestling Superstar figures. Make your display shine by grabbing these custom LJN stands from 4 Left 3D Creations today.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jason of New Age Revolution Cave. Haven't said those words in a couple of weeks. Man, oh man, it is good to be back. Brand new, fresh laptop upstairs, working great, videos uploading like that. It's incredible what happens when you update your electronics, your computers. When you take an 8-year-old laptop and you upgrade it, videos upload like magic. Quick. It's wonderful. I was going to do a, hey, want to play some Nintendo tonight? But I've decided to just go with the LJN reviews. And hopefully get right back to the dailies. Hopefully tomorrow we can play Nintendo. And I do want to talk about some LJN memories. A new viewer, possibly a subscriber, I'm not sure, left a comment on a very old LJN video that I did. And he said, you know, did you do wrestling magazines based on your figures? And I did. And I want to talk about that a little bit because I haven't thought about those memories in a while. But tonight we're going to continue taking a closer look at a revisiting, if you will, of the LJN Wrestling Superstars lineup. We have done the first 5 figures. We did Series 1. And now we're going to jump into Series 2. And the first figure that I'm going to look at from Series 2 is one of my least favorite wrestlers who nobody ever seems to agree with me. I'm talking about the Hot Rod, Rowdy Roddy Piper. And Rowdy Roddy Piper is securely fastened on his LJN custom stand from 4 Left 3D Creations. Take a look at that beauty. Display your LJNs in a whole new way with the custom LJN stand from 4 Left 3D Creations right there. This video is also brought to you by the world's greatest customizer, period. XOX, Random Treasures on Etsy, Print Fury, and 4 Left 3D Creations. Rowdy Roddy Piper, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take a closer look at him in a bit. Now, I know that so far, the majority of the figures that I've been showing you, I've said I didn't really play with that much. And I'm going to go ahead and repeat myself. I didn't really play with Rowdy Roddy Piper that much because I just never, ever liked the Hot Rod as a wrestler. I never liked him. And I never understood why everybody thinks that he's such a great promo. In my opinion, and I want to say my well-educated opinion, I've watched wrestling since I was 8 years old. And I'm watching it now as an adult. I'm watching this era as an adult, as you've seen on Wrestling with the Past. Roddy Piper's promos aren't good. They're not good at all. He's not a good talker. He's a babbler. He's a cliche machine, and half of his cliches don't even make sense. None of his interviews are coherent. He's off the rails. He's out of his mind, and nothing is effective. He might have 1 or 2 good lines thrown in, but other than that, it's just babble and nonsense. And everybody just thinks he's the best promo ever. Is he the best bad guy ever? He's right up there with bad guy Ric Flair as one of the best bad guys ever, if not the best bad guy ever. Absolutely. But I don't think he's a promo king at all. I mean, I can't even get into it. But anyway, I got Piper for Christmas '85. I do remember that. He was a part of the divorce Christmas That's right, the presents of the divorce Christmas. And I've told the story. My mom bought me the rest of Series 1, minus, I think, Snuka. I think. But she, instead of wrapping all 6 or 7 figures individually, she took them all out of the packaging, threw out the packaging, stuffed them all into a plastic bag with the posters, and those were my figures. So I did not get them in package. They were thrown out, but I got the posters. Funny stories with Roddy Piper, the figure. Somebody found me. So we lived and I've told this story before too. We lived in an apartment complex, and for some reason, one of the maintenance men was, sweet on my mom, I think. And, in order to get in the son's good graces, the maintenance man found a beat up Roddy Piper in the dumpster, ladies and gentlemen, and gave him to me. And so with that Roddy Piper, I did my first customization job. I painted him a baby blue t-shirt and called him Red River Jack. That's right, who is I think it was Bruiser Brody under a mask in World Class, I think. It was somebody under a mask in World Class. I don't know if it was Bruiser Brody for sure. I think it was, but it was Red River Jack. And so I painted up, there's the big custom job, baby blue t-shirt, Red River Jack. I don't know where I came up with that, but I did. And Roddy Piper, the second Roddy Piper was Red River Jack. The dumpster find was Red River Jack. And his finishing move was a front flip off the top rope, landing on the guy. I remember these things, folks. That's why you tune in to the New 80s Revolution, because my brain is a vault of useless memories that are priceless, right? Useless and priceless. I did meet Roddy Piper. Several years ago, pre-children, I want to say. So probably about 11, 12 years ago. A friend and I went, a couple of friends and I went to a Legend show, I think it was. Yeah, it was like a Legends reunion show, something like that. Again, in Pennsylvania. I did a lot of those in Pennsylvania. And Roddy Piper. Wait, was it? No, it was the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, I think. Yeah, it was the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in Amsterdam, New York. I don't think Piper was being inducted, but he was a guest. J.J. Dillon was there that year. I met him. Nick Bockwinkel was there. I met him. And Roddy Piper was there. And that was kind of the first big meet. And look, it's childhood stuff. It's emotional. When I met him, I shook his hand, and I was a little misty. Okay, I wasn't babbling or slobbering all over him, but I was a little misty, and I think he picked up on it, and he kind of pulled me a little closer to him, and he said, what's your name? He was real soft spoken. What's your name? And I told him, I said, this is incredible. You're my child. That's a lot of things I would say to those guys. It's what I said to Hogan. I said it to Piper and Orndorff, or Snuka and Orndorff. I said it to Piper. I said, you're my whole childhood. And he was like, he just was sweet. And I met him, and I took a picture with him, and it's somewhere, it's buried somewhere. And and then driving home from the Hall of Fame, I confessed to one of my friends that I got a little weepy, and they made fun of me the rest of the drive home, which was awful. So I did meet Roddy Piper. Very, very devastated when he died. Died way sooner than we would think. Very sad when Roddy Piper died. A massive icon loss. Look, just because I say he's, I didn't like him as a wrestler, I just didn't like his in-ring stuff, and I didn't like his promos. But Roddy Piper's a legend, you know, so of course I can separate those things, and I'm, you know, crying when I'm meeting him, basically. I thought I had another Piper story for you. Maybe I do. Oh, one of the first memories of WWF wrestling was the Piper Snuka Coconut Piper's Pit. And I remember being afraid of it as a kid. I remember that it was so aggressive and so violent that I was put off by it as a kid. It actually scared me a little, how intense it was. And also how angry and uncontrollable Jimmy Snuka was as he was going after Piper. And isn't that exactly what they wanted to do? You know, isn't that exactly what it was supposed to be? It was supposed to like have an impact on people, and it had an impact on me as a kid. I was afraid of it. I was afraid of the Piper Snuka coconut incident. And it's still just so good today. It's so real and so intense today. But that's Roddy Piper, the LJN. Let's go take a closer look at him. And don't forget to hop on Etsy and go to 4 Left 3D Creations and get the Roddy Piper custom LJN stand. Let's take a closer look right now. All right, here we go. The custom Roddy Piper figure stand, of course. But here is our Roddy Piper. Good face, blue eyes on Roddy. That classic kind of, you know, 80s hairstyle. Kind of looks like John Ritter a little bit, doesn't it? Right? Decent play pose. At this point, you know, a classic LJN play pose. The hot rod, I think it would have been cool. I can't remember, did he have like the red around the collar and the arms in the 80s? I don't remember that. I don't think so. But nice hot rod. Perfect, actually. Really nice hot rod on the chest. Of course, the kilt. A very, one of my favorite accessories. And aside from the belt, you know, Series 2, aside from Hogan's belt, Series 2 was when the accessory started. Red boots, obviously there are variants, if you will, in quotation marks, right? Variants of figure. Brown boot Piper, slightly less red boot Piper. I mean, I don't care. But I guess this would be red boot Piper. We've got the backside, just, you know, standard, no big deal. Kilt comes off, of course, with Velcro. And then we have an interesting part of Piper. We have the belt, the Scottish belt that is supposed to sit kind of on top of the kilt, like so. If you have the kilt on, you're supposed to show a little bit of the belt. But then when you take the kilt off, we've got a belt on. That never bothered me. But, you know, for the first time, we have a figure that is now going from, you know, in-ring or entrance gear to wrestling gear. But we got the t-shirt, of course, so that always, I don't know. Did it bother me as a kid? Probably not. I don't remember it bothering me as a kid. You know, the wrestler with the, you know, Nikolai Volkov has the t-shirt on, and Don Morocco has the t-shirt on, and I don't know if it bothered me as a kid. I don't think so. Obviously not. But there you go, Roddy Piper with kilt. And I think there's some variants in the kilt too that just people are just nuts about. Like some of the green, like there's kilt variants where the green stripes are smaller, and like just settle down. But there he is, Roddy Piper. 4 Left 3D Creations. You get your custom hot rod Roddy Piper stand. And there you go, Roddy Piper. A closer look at LJN's revisited Roddy Piper. Good night now.